Welcome to HxGN TV Live. My name is Frank Joop, Executive Director of Business Development for the Engineering and Schematic and Design Tools. Today we're going to talk about data-driven electrical engineering. And with me I got a panel that can help me discuss this topic, and I'll let them introduce themselves, starting with you, Charlie.
I'm Charlie Pruitt with Kiewit Engineering Design. I've been with the company for about 1.5 years as the smart plant electrical expert, and I've been in engineering and in the oil and gas industry for about 12 years, and using ETAP and SPEL for pretty much my whole career. All right, Victor.
Thank you, Frank. My name is Victor Andrade. I'm a principal power engineer with ETAP. I've been in the power industry for about 9 years. 5 of those years have been with ETAP, from performing power system analysis to providing technical support, helping with testing on the software. And recently I've been doing quite a bit of training for electrical engineers.
Good.
Thank you.
And last but not least, Myron.
Hi, my name is Myron Stein, and I'm the product manager of Smart Plant Electrical. I have about 20 years with Intergraph and about 40 years of experience all in total in the field. And I have the pleasure of working with ETAP, our partner, in developing this SPEL ETAP interface.
Cool. All right. Well, let me ask you first a question here, Charlie, to kick it off. I mean, what do you see as the biggest challenge that your engineers have in executing projects, from the electrical engineering point of view?
For me, in the projects I support, we're still dealing with the main problem of getting data from a hard copy or legacy source into the database, and it takes a lot of hours and design time to transfer that data. And this has been worked out over the last couple of years with the innovations with the new tools on the front end, and the part that we're still struggling with is on the back end with construction, that we produce drawings as PDFs or paper copies that send out to the construction site, and the construction managers and site engineers will mark those up, and they may or may not have direct access to the databases to make those changes, so they'll have to send it back, email it back to the office for somebody else to do, and it's an iterative process that hopefully could be eliminated in the future.
Right. Yeah, I can see that. So, Victor, how can the ETAP help these engineers on the project in streamlining this whole work process, in making sure they're making the right decision during the design before that goes out in construction and or buying equipment and cables?
Right. Model-driven engineering allows for the design of electrical safety up front, right? Before anything has been purchased, before anything has been commissioned, it allows the electrical engineer to keep in mind the safety of everyone in the workplace. So ETAP provides the tool for the analysis of electrical safety in the form of arc flash analysis, ground grid for step and touch potential. We want to make sure that the engineer has the tools available to make sure that anyone who comes in contact with the electrical equipment is able to go home safe, no accidents.
That's important.
That's the whole point. And model-driven engineering allows the electrical engineer to perform that in a closed-loop environment.
Right.
So we exchange data with Smart Plant Electrical.
Right.
So when the electrical engineer is performing the design phase, they turn to ETAP for the electrical safety analysis design, and then bring the data back to Smart Plant Electrical for delivery. Right.
So, Mayor, what you heard, Charlie, that one of his issues is to collect all the data, because obviously engineers, the load list is the main thing that they have to work from, and then make sure that every load, get assigned to panels. And so, what did you do with Smart Electrical to help the guys that are on the job to do that more efficiently and keep it up to date, with changes and so on?
Well, SPEL is a full life cycle engineering solution, and as such, it collects the data from different sources. And especially in today's challenged project with time schedules very tight and changing sometimes, so we offer the solution of a data-driven solution that allows to perform a batch and operations using various means of cross-checking information on different variables and deliverables. And since it's archives the documents, it allows also to compare and check the data, who made changes and what, and allow to have more safety in this plant.
Right. Have so you also have you had life cycle. Do you have a connection with the physical design, like the 3D design for like placing equipment, or?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Of course, we are not a silo in our suite of solutions, of course. So we collaborate and exchange data with other tools in our enterprise software. So we have downstream applications like SmartPlant Pin ID that is connected to SmartPlant Electrical, receiving data inside. And then further down the road, we exchanged cable data with Smart 3D in order to route more accurately. And of course, not less important is to leverage this information and pass information to ETAP to cross-validate and make sure that our design is correct as early as possible.
That's the key.
Yeah,
that is the key. We need to make sure we make the decisions early, and the right decision early, and not later in the field discover that you have the wrong cable or not enough cable. That's very, very good. So Charlie, when you do a project, you feel that owners are getting more and more involved up front with their demands in terms of standards, and I want the deliverable to look like this, and I want to use specify exactly what they want as an end deliverable, or you feel, they'll leave it all up to you and be surprised?
In my experience, there's two types of owners, and one's going to be the owner-operator that wants to carry the database with them into operation and use the database in operation and maintenance. And they'll, of course, want to be involved with the setup and configuration and with all the standardization so that when they get the database handed over to them, it works the way they want it to. And the other type of owner, of course, is the one that just needs something built and wants a turnkey design. So they usually don't care how it's done as long as it's done quickly and on schedule. And for that, the experience of the EPC and being able to do both of those and having the standards that a reputable customer would respect and carry on to their post-construction environment.
If I may add here, Frank, just a little bit, since we are living today in a very safety concerned issues, regional and governmental regulations force those owner-operators to be more alert to these, and this is also makes them be more aware and specify standards tools so that can archive and can audit trail and compare data, and especially traceability is very important in that sense, and those solutions help in this case.
Right, yeah, and I think there will be, I understand what you said about the two type of owners, but I think there will be some trend that owners getting more and more involved. We see that also on our side, because they want to reduce the risk and the cost in the operational phase, and they believe that when they have electronic data versus a piece of paper, that will help. So along those lines, if the owners are involved and they want to standardize and template things, do you think like an environment like the cloud will help that whole standardization and handover also to the owners at the end of the project? And had Kiewit thought about a cloud environment for a design?
It certainly would make a big difference for a multiple EPC project. when you have to do very large projects that will need the manpower of more than one company, then all of those companies need to work in one standard environment so that the deliverables stay consistent and that the customer is happy with the product when he gets it handed over to them.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So the owners, you know, in the end, they are the receiving party and they're also paying for everything. Now, what can ETAP, I know you do a great job on analysis and protected devices and even arc flash, which is a safety issue, but what about the owner-operator phase? Do you have something that you can help the owners on the electrical side to manage their risk of, you know, power distribution when they're operating the plants or facilities?
Yeah, it's been our experience in the past that the electrical engineer will put all this effort into creating a validated electrical model for design purposes, and then at the end of the commissioning, it gets put away. And you know, it's almost like you know, only when there's an expansion, you know, 5-10 years down the road, that they bring back the model is no longer accurate. So yes, ETAP believes in keeping that electrical model always alive. ETAP real-time is a solution that sits in the operator's room, making sure that any changes to the facility are updated in the electrical model. Right, so in the event that settings or electrical equipment changes, that the safety studies are performed always.
Yeah, but as far as I understand, you also help with the load shedding in terms of critical equipment that had to stay online, that will be, you know, taken care of if the power goes down somewhere, that the critical equipment, you know, stayed powered, which is important for operating facilities. You know, if you are in the mining business, you don't want the belt, conveyor belt to go down, because basically stop the whole mine. You know, that is a critical part. So, but that is also where your, you know, product will play a role, if I'm understanding correctly.
That's right. The intelligent load shedding is also a model-driven load shedding solution that keeps things moving in the production.
Cool.
Yep.
Now, one question for you, Myron, which is also very important, I think. Very, very few people start with a blank sheet of paper when they design a plan, because there's always something that they kind of sort of similar did before. So what about reuse of design, or if you have designed already things in another system, can we leverage that in Smart Plant Electrical to the new project?
Yeah, of course. I mean, due to the fact that schedules are very tight, Smart Plant Electrical offers a variety of means to reuse data and facilitate the starting of a project. You have to start as soon as you can without having any data at all. So you rely on previous projects, so previous data, which are captured in lookup tables, for example. And recently in Smart Plant Electrical 2015, we also introduced the ability to import graphical drawings that you can reuse. And many times these projects are repetitive, kind of.
Yes.
And if you can, anything that you can reuse, it's just a benefit and cuts your man hours, engineering hours.
Yeah, that's right, and it may also be a best practice that you want to reuse again and reinvent.
Why invest again?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. All right. Well, we're almost out of time. I'd like to thank you guys for being here with me and discussing this topic. Really appreciate it. So thank you for that. And if you want to have more information about the Smart Plant Suite, go to intergraph.com, to the PPM website, where you find more information about the products. And you can always see more of the HxGN TV series at the HxGNTV.com website. So with that, thank you very much.